should be a pretty by the number show.
Uh,
Getting into it.
we are live. Giving folks a few minutes to get in.
For sure, man.
You been chilling, bro?
Yeah, man. Chilling for real. Just playing. I was hooping earlier. Beyond that, just door dashing, trying to find some stable work out here in this American BS. But beyond that, yeah.
Man, come on out to the A, man.
Man, you got some work for me, Sheldon? You can write some songs together or something? Like,
I know we need to go and get it popping.
No, for real though. Shit. No, I know Maya got a new single out. I gotta send you the video for that, Ken. I meant to do that, but I'll get this shit up with him.
Oh man! All right, we'll get started. Let me turn this down.
You know, before like one point of order, I wanted to talk to y'all about. Ken, when y'all did the albums with best opening tracks, the fact that y'all didn't say "Bomb" first was crazy to me, yo. Machiavelli, like what?
Yeah, that's actually a really, really good point. Damn.
Come on, man.
That is actually a really good one.
Like, damn. Like one point of order, I wanted to talk to you about.
Chat.
when y'all did the, I'm hearing like some feedback.
What up, everybody? I was pulling up the chat. Oh, all right. This is the place where sports opinions collide. That is sports. I am your host, Nikiana Ken. I'm gonna get that right. It's Italian. I'm gonna get it right. Joining me on the show, we have Shelton J.
What's happening?
Q, six man.
What up?
And FIFO said he should be on around probably about 15 minutes from now. But yeah, of course, playoffs are live and in action. Minnesota is still maintaining their 20-point lead over Memphis. It was as high as 26 at one point when I had it on earlier. But yeah. So but still plenty of time for the second seed to try to come back and steal this one. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, this would be kind of crazy if Minnesota actually win that joint. But
this game or this series, which one?
Series. I mean, I picked them, so.
Should we start there with Minnesota?
We can.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm all in on the Anthony Edwards hype. I'm all in on that. I'm feeling that. I think he's an absolute dog. I don't trust D'Angelo Russell to be consistently great all the time, but I think that Edwards and Cat can kind of get them to where they need to be, along with like guys like Malik Beasley and Pat Bev staying in their ear. Like, yo, let's just do what you do best. Anthony Edwards, go to the rim, take your shots. Cat, you know that you're the best shooting big man of all time. That's your staple. Stick with that. You know what I mean? Work them inside. And then let's just run up and down the floor, and let's just get these guys out of the flow of their offense by forcing them, everything out of the paint. Like they cannot drive on us. They have to shoot. Make the Grizzlies shoot. I feel like that's kind of what the game plan is. And that's why I picked Minnesota in 6, personally. I don't think that the Grizzlies have been tested enough.
Yeah, I thought Memphis would play a little bit better than they have so far. After a pretty dominating win in the second game. But yeah, for them to be down like this and just getting manhandled, man, I'm a little shocked. I got to give props to Minnesota for looking a little bit more mature and ready Yeah,
No, it's
everybody pitching in. So, but these series, man, they wow. And
I was gonna say
Minnesota's very physical too, which is kind of crazy.
that
So
that was similar to what I was gonna say too. It's crazy how this playoffs you've been seeing a lot more strategizing from places. Like you can't this playoffs more than any other prove that talent is not the only thing that matters in the NBA. There is strategy involved, and you're seeing so much defensive and offensive strategies being implemented, and it's successful on teams that are outmanned talent-wise. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy to see these guys do some of the things they're doing, and you're seeing it across the board. But in this series, you're right. I don't trust Cat though. That's the only thing. Anthony Edwards has arrived. I think he's going to be fine. It's just the other two. Now Pat Bev has been leading pretty good. He's been, showing some good leadership and making some plays too. Everybody's been chipping in, but I just don't. I don't know. I just don't trust him. I still think Memphis is going to get right the ship.
I just don't believe in him. All season long, it's just something just doesn't feel. Something just doesn't feel real about Memphis, man. It's just everything like with Ja going out and then being able to put together these string of wins. What was it? Was like 17 wins or something without Ja.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like 2 or 3 losses, something of that nature. That just screams to me like a team that is very well put together, but is built for the regular season. For some reason, when a team isn't dependent enough to win on with their stars, I for some reason I just am kind of down on them for like some reason. You know what I mean? Not to the point, and that may sound so counterintuitive to what people think about with basketball. Oh, you shouldn't just be a one man team. I'm not saying that, but for the season to be such a long grind and for it to be kind of degraded to the point where it's just now a up and down type of competition now. Dudes doing AAU moves and whatnot, regular season awards being given out to players when the fact of the matter is most of these teams don't even care about the regular season like that. So most teams are just coasting to the playoffs. So for the Memphis to be able to get those many wins without Ja just didn't really feel real to me. I'm not saying Taylor Jenkins is not putting together an incredible season, but Memphis, it just feels like fool's gold. And now we're seeing that Minnesota is able to exploit their lack of shooting on the floor. Besides Desmond Bane, there's no real consistent 3-point guys on that Memphis team. And Ja still doesn't have a pull up. He still doesn't have a mid range. He may have a spot 3. But if he's not slashing, that's how he gets himself going, and they're cutting that off. They're making sure that he doesn't get into the paint, and they're making sure that the fact that they're not getting to the paint is forcing contested jumpers, and that's how they're up by 20 right now.
Yeah, if he's going to be mini D Wade or D Wade light or whatever, then he's going to have to channel D Wade. But to win this series, and everybody else have to play better, but. I mean, D Wade did that in the damn finals. So it's a bit different between D Wading yourself out of a first round and versus the finals. So
100%, 100%. And people just gonna have to step up. Your guys on this squad just gonna have to step up. They don't have a choice. But it's still
they though.
You said can they?
Can or will they?
That's the will they part is the biggest thing, but they still have a shot because all you got to do is steal one on the road. You need to win this next game, regardless. And you'll hold serve. You'll have home court advantage again, and a chance to turn it around. You'll have a shot. Put it that way, and we'll just see where it goes from there. But I think that they because of the fact that. Like we talk about not counting on Memphis. I don't count on either one of these teams to kind of hold, to come out and produce big time consistently. Minnesota's not a consistent team either. So it's saying that's why I feel like Memphis has a shot.
They definitely have a shot, though. They definitely have a shot. I just won't be the one to give him that shot personally.
Right, I feel you, and that makes 100% sense what you're saying, because like I said, they ain't really proved anything so far. And we talked about it earlier. Everybody thought, when you think about it, you think Minnesota would be the younger team, but they're not. They have the veterans across the board, so they're more battle tested than Memphis, even though Memphis is the higher seed. So yeah, I trust. I just don't. It comes down to who wants it more, and the X's and O's from these two coaches. That's really what it boils down to.
Absolutely. D'Angelo Russell's doing a pretty good job right now. I think his pace, and what he brings to the game as a point guard. If he can just channel his inner CP and just keep pace of the game, make the assists he needs to make the mid-range pull-ups he needs to make, and just the outlet passes. If he just focuses on the simple things, and that's what makes D'Angelo Russell such an infuriating player, is that he'll have those games where it's like, dude, like the between the legs, pull back, step back is going, the floater is going, the assists are going, right? And then like the very next game, blown layups, bad turnovers, like bad body language, quote unquote, just by what people say. But just from a night to night basis, we're like, damn, bro, how do you go from dropping 31 and 10 to like giving us 5 points and two, 3 turnovers? Like that,
Right.
that can't happen. But the sad thing is that I think he's still such a threat offensively that him just playing a B- C+ series, as long as Edwards and Cat alternate between giving B+ and A+, efforts, I think Minnesota can still win this shit, because Pat Bev, Malik Beasley, those guys, they just seem to, be keeping everything in line with what needs to be, done for the game plan. You need those veterans who just, when the moment gets tough, you're down 6, down 10, you're up 20. Even if you lose 7 points off that lead, they'll be like, hey, y'all, we slipping. Or, hey, we're down 10. All we need to do is get it to 5 before halftime. Or we're down 15. Let's just get it to 7 before halftime. I think that like Minnesota, they're so young that it's like what people say. They're so young that they don't know that they're not supposed to be doing this. And Anthony Edwards, he has such a I don't give a fuck attitude that I just believe in his swagger, man. Like, I think he's the next face of the NBA personally.
I mean, he has good things going for him, the game. But I think in addition to that, and I just found out there's this personality part to him where he does like these real funny interviews, what people be saying. So
yeah,
so he tends to be a little bit charismatic as well, and that goes a long way to being able to connect with fans. People like that sort of stuff. So, but we'll see. It's still a whole quarter to go. Memphis is you're not the second seed in the West for nothing. They'll have to prove it, with the epic comeback, and it can happen. But shit, D'Angelo Russell down there getting what he want. I sometimes forget he's as good of a shooter as he is.
He forgets too.
Yeah, but anyway, all right. Let's talk about Brooklyn, man. Where Brooklyn at? That's what we're trying to figure out.
I got a couple super chats. Let me read both of these real quick.
All
right. Tracy G, what's happening, Tracy G, for getting us started? Hey, we appreciate all the super chat love, man. We need all the help we can get. It helps us to grow the channel. It helps us to give you more content and better content. So we appreciate the love, y'all. Tracy G said, I'm so here for these injuries. The Bulls Eastern Conference Finals, Minnesota and Pelicans Western Conference Finals. Let's go Bulls.
Ooh.
Oh, well, number one, here at Dead End Sports, we do not endorse the injury of any player in the National Basketball Association, but it is certainly a truism, Tracy, that the injuries have made these series much more interesting. Since we're talking about, I think we're going to get to Chicago and whatnot, so we're going to table that. But since we're going to talk about injury, even a guy like Ben Simmons for the Brooklyn Nets in that series, what they're talking about him possibly coming back, what, in game 4, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Uh, that would be very interesting. I need to see what that would do. I don't know if you can do anything more than maybe like 15 minutes in the game, some 5 minute spurts here, defense, 5 minute spurts here with the bench. Let him like try to do some post moves, or if he has them, you know what I mean, just push the rock in transition.
If he has
You know
them.
what I mean? If I don't know what he's been doing in these 11 months besides playing like, Call of Duty Warzone and shit. But beyond that, beyond that, this series, Boston up 2-0 after, Halal Ramadan Kyrie was going bonkers game 1. The Jason Tatum finish that we all talked about on Tuesday and whatnot, what y'all talked about on Tuesday, and just another masterful game from Ime Udoka as the head coach of the Boston Celtics. I've been saying for probably the past couple weeks that I was 100% wrong on Jason Tatum. I'm definitely going to always admit when I'm wrong. But Jason Tatum, he's playing some stellar defense on KD. But what has to be highlighted in this series, in my opinion, fellas, is just how clueless Steve Nash looks and how nobody's saying anything about it.
I don't get how it's not more highlighted though, Q. I mean, we see the joke sometimes that the one about the picture of the guy shooting. But other than that, I don't see how they're just ignoring that.
Mm-hmm.
That in the mainstream media, because he has absolutely done nothing. Like, he's done nothing
Mm-hmm.
as far as being a coach is concerned, but stand there and pace on the sidelines. I saw somebody say that, like, him, that's all you see him there doing is pacing on the sidelines.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy to me. It's just crazy to me how how he even has a job, but B, how he's doing nothing and getting away with it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
dog, he looks like Mike McCarthy of the NBA. Personally, he's just there to collect the check, and he's just there to whoever really runs the show, which may be just KD and Kyrie. It seems like KD got that whole franchise in a headlock. So whatever he says, he's leveraging. I'll leave. I will leave after my contract is up if y'all trade Kyrie, or if you don't bring in this guy, like, you know what I mean, I'm gonna be unhappy. And you know that KD's demeanor is reportedly very volatile. His willingness to stay long term is already due to the fabric of the NBA right now. It's the cloth is cut different for these guys. So I think what we're seeing now is going back to Brooklyn to 0-2. If Steve Nash is not willing to generate some movement off the ball, if they can't get some cross screens going, if they can't get some pin downs going, if they can't get some high pick and roll action, maybe with like Drummond and KD, I don't even know, dude. Like, they're like, Curry got to come off some screens more than just coming down the court. The guy says a screen for him. That transition pick that they're running, I don't think it's really working. And plus, Brooklyn is just such an offensive team that I don't think they have the defensive personnel at all to even mess with Boston when they go home. So I don't even know if Steve Nash could remedy this. He might be in a Frank Vogel situation,
Well, they should come back 2-2. Boston managed to eke out 2 wins, thanks to great coaching by how you say Udoku?
yeah.
Ime Udoka, yeah.
Ime Udoka. They held serve. You know how these things go. Things sometimes appear to change when you go home, and we'll see what happens. To go down 3 would be devastating, and we're gonna have to ask a lot of questions. If that happens and they get swept, or it's a gentleman's sweep. But when you have KD and Kyrie, and you have a sizable lead like that, I thought that game was over.
Yeah.
And for all intents and purposes, that game should have been over. I know they made some great adjustments, and I'm just going by what you guys are saying, because I didn't get a chance to watch it because we were shooting. But yeah, that game should have been a wrap. Like, you have KD and Kyrie. These are offensive juggernauts. How do you let that happen? So it's somewhat inexcusable. And I think that if, you think about a number of players that if this happened to, it'll be a lot of discussion around it. But one thing I was telling Nick, man, KD look old, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's starting, bro.
I think it's. I disagree only on the basis that I don't think it's old. I think it's just the wear and tear of what they've been asking this man to do. With Kyrie's part-time shit that he's been doing, Kyrie's conditioning is not there yet. You know what I mean? Even if he's been hooping, playing fives at some local YMCA in Brooklyn and shit, that doesn't mean that he's in NBA condition. So for him to come back part-time, and playing against the best in the world, you saw that towards the end of the regular season when he was able to go full-time, he would have a 50-point game, no shots missed. Then the very next game when it was a back-to-back, have like 13, 20 points on terrible shooting percentage because he's not there yet. His legs haven't gone through the wear and tear of at least a 50-game, stint of playing full on. So the reason why KD's had to play these 35, 38, 40-plus minute, games back-to-back-to-back just to keep these guys in contention, I think that's catching up to him. And I think that may be an age thing in terms of like you're no longer 27, 28, so you can't just put on that load like you used to. But to me, this is not like the tread is starting to come off the tires of KD as like still an elite player. This is just more so you're no longer that young man, and you can't ask a guy towards the latter half of his prime, maybe like the last 2-3 years. You can't ask him to put out this much output when no one else on his team can come along with him, except for part-time Kyrie. So now we're seeing it now where Boston, like they're zoning him. They're swatting the ball out of his hands. I was watching I was watching a video. I don't remember who it is. I think it was Ball Don't Stop, but he was pointing out some really good film where KD's shot pocket, where he brings the ball up when he's in his prone position. The Boston defenders, Ime Udoka, coaching against him in San Antonio, coaching for him in Brooklyn last year when he was on the bench, and coaching with him in Tokyo just last year when they were in the Olympics. He's seen endless tape of KD, and what we're seeing right now, and some people will get it, some people who won't. What we're seeing right now with his shot pocket is they're getting their hands right up in there. So when he's bringing the ball up, they're swatting the ball out. When he's dribbling the ball, they're showing two guys every single time. And they have a defender in the back end. Like Al Horford, he has to be the unsung hero of this series so far because for him to look like this at this advanced age of his career, to still be able to slide his feet on the perimeter, this shit is otherworldly to me. And people need to recognize what they're seeing. So I say all this to say, KD is being forced to be the decision maker. And this is the issue. Steph got all the double teams in Golden State. Clay and Steph, they took the attention away. You know what I mean? KD left this situation in OKC because they were not doubling Russ. They weren't doubling Roberson. They were doubling him. And that's where Ime Udoka and Pop in 2014 figured that out. Is, oh, wait, he's not a natural passer of the basketball. Let's make him make the decisions because he's a natural born. I just want to get the ball and I just want to hoop. That's what KD says all the time. I just want to hoop. But when you have guys like Steph, you have guys like LeBron, they normally pick the defense apart with in Steph's case, passing the ball and moving off the ball. And in LeBron's case, when the Celtics double him or if the Clippers double him or whoever it is, the Nuggets team, they double him, he's picking you apart with passing. KD's not that type of guy.
Right.
So that's where we're seeing the disconnect, and that's where he's struggling.
Yeah, but he's also dribbling into traffic. When I say that, you're right with the double coming. They're not showing it as early as most teams would. They're kind of coming kind of late. So when he makes his move, there's somebody stepping into that lane with him. And like you said, they're roughing him up too. They don't really care about fouls. They're fouling him. They because I forgot how many free throws he shot. but they're making it really, really tough on KD, and it's frustrating to him. And he looks worn, like you said, his usage rate has been high, and he looks a little worn out.
Mm-hmm.
And those hands are light, boy. They're on that ball. They like you said, they're in that pocket, and they're making those plays. And it's happening so often. You know, I saw it in that first game. They had a million turnovers, and I kept saying, "Dang, man, they stripping KD like it's nothing." We even saw a shot block this last game where Tatum blocked his shot. He don't look inspired. So, Ken, what you were saying is kind of true. It's like, you know, his legs are failing him right now. And you're right. Kyrie is not. He had a couple turnovers too that way. He's not the Kyrie that we're used to, and he's in Ramadan, so he eating or drinking nothing all day, and that's kind of hard to do in the playoffs, man, and be effective itself. So you're seeing a result of a lot of different things. A team that's getting used to each other because they haven't played together all that much too, and the fact that there's no adjustments being made. So it's more about the X and O's in a series like this than any other. This is the main one. You talk about adjustments and you talk about strategy and game plan. One team is just playing off our pure, we got talent. We got talent most. So we're going to out-talent you. The other team is, we're going to out-strategize you. And you play our strengths. And it's working. It's working. It's 2-0 when it easily could be 0-2 right now. That should have been 0-2 right now if you look at it the way it is.
If Steve Nash could coach and make adjustments, they don't come apart down the stretch of that last 90 seconds. That last 90 seconds was some of the most atrocious non-coaching in game one. I mean, some of the most atrocious non-coaching I've ever seen. And in game two, you have a 17-point lead. Steve Nash and the talent on that team, they have to take it home. And this is why I'm not confident in them coming back 2-2 is because can you be for sure that you're going to get this same level of output from Bruce Brown? Bruce Brown had their first 12 of 17 points or something. Bruce Brown can he be counted to do that again? Can Kyrie be counted to give you a 40 piece? You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know, man. I see it being 5 or 6 games personally. I think that Boston, they're gonna eke out these wins because that's just where I think the talent of KD and Kyrie will come in, where it's just gonna be hard games to win, but they're winnable games for Boston. But that's just a testament to them being top 75 guys. Well, Kyrie should have been a top 75 guy.
I don't mean to interrupt you. I have not been watching this game.
It's official.
This game is tied.
Yeah, it's official. They've blown the lead.
I had
21-0 run, something like that.
Yeah, and I was looking. I never looked up at the screen. I've been looking down, and then I turned it to the other game to see what was going on. And I come back, and it's 83-83.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's crazy right there.
A lot of,
but that goes to show you what I'm talking about. It's just, you know, they got loads of talent, but it's just you can't depend on those guys like that. You can depend on.
Well, most of this happened when most of this is on Finch. He had his B squad in toward the last couple of minutes of the third quarter, trying to basically steal some time. And cockiness, turned the ball over, sloppy play, jacking shots up. And Memphis got momentum. So then you try to insert Cat and AE, and at that point, you know, it's damn near too late. So that's what happened. D'Angelo Russell didn't really do a good job of controlling the pace or settling the team down when things were chaotic and Memphis were kind of going on that run. So yeah, that's and then Karl Anthony Towns getting silly fouls called on him. So here we are.
That's crazy, man.
I still think that they're gonna win this game personally, but that's just what they have to do. You know what I mean? For Anthony Edwards and them, it's just the growing pains of playoffs, man. You just have to, blow your leads. You have to blow your series. You have to, figure it out. And I believe in Ant-Man enough for them to be able to win the series. But if they lose the series, I'm not gonna be surprised either. But I do have them winning this shit in 7 if D'Angelo Russell can, bring it back. That's just what I think. But
I I I see more this as being them than the other. I just don't see them winning the series, and I think I said Memphis in 6,
And
and
let me
they are.
tell you why you're wrong. Because it's going to definitely be Minnesota in 7. Minnesota has been in every single game. The only reason why they aren't – good foul. That's a playoff foul. The only reason why they aren't up, in my opinion, 2-0 right now is because of their inexperience. But the talent is there. And I feel like they have enough veteran leadership that they can overcome it enough against this team. You know what I'm saying? You got to think. Last year was the first year that Memphis got into the playoffs, right? So they had a little bit of success. They still haven't got slapped. You know what I'm saying? This would be a slap to them. And I think this honestly would be better for Memphis and better for Minnesota if Memphis lost and Minnesota won. I think it actually helps both teams in the long run.
mm-hmm.
The only problem with that FIFA was that they were up. How much were they up? Like 23?
26, I think.
Yeah, it was something crazy. And they were like, I'm talking about dominating this game. So and Ken, you said it in the third quarter. When I'm thinking in my head, when you said that, like, nah, this it. Moving on to the next game. But you said they still got a quarter to go and they come back. But in mine, I was like, nah, they're not gonna be able to. So come back. That's tough. That's tough. And that can kind of catapult a team like Memphis. That's not a team that I want to have confidence. I would have wanted to have won this game by 20-something points.
Yeah, I think it's it's you got to learn. It's kind of like what Q was saying. You have to learn that these leads, just because you up, it don't mean anything. Like teams don't give up in the playoffs when they're down 26 because these games matter more than they do in the regular season. So they keep coming at you like that. So you have to play smarter and take care of the ball. And they were just doing a lot of silly stuff. And I don't think Finch did a good job of like stopping that run. So I mean, an 18-0 run, and then there was one point Beasley he'll just catch the ball. He shot like 3s back to back. So no good sets, Brian. So it is what it is.
I didn't see it because I wasn't even looking at that game. I counted that one pretty much out, and I was trying to get a feel for this Dallas game. But yeah, no, that's crazy.
Absolutely.
But like you said, it is the playoffs, and it happens. It does happen. So, and you're dealing with two, new to playoff teams, so to speak. Now Dallas is up on Utah again, and that was one of my picks that Dallas would win the series. We're not gonna get in this one yet, but that's crazy to see too. It's just crazy how these games are going.
I mean, I think that these playoffs have just been so volatile. The only series that's been like pretty much like, well, I guess after last night, it's easy to say it, but the Sixers series is the only series where it's like, oh shit, well, that's just kind of knock on wood with Doc Rivers, it's over. But you know what I mean. Beyond that, everyone else is live. You know what I mean. I think
even that series, like Toronto blew that lead.
Yeah,
but they could have gotten back in it. But Philly didn't quit and came back and they got it within striking distance, like, in the second half.
Mhm.
And that was enough. And then Embiid kind of got going in the third quarter. And you saw a difference. And you saw what coaching could actually do in that one. And what I mean by that, when things got chaotic in game one with one of their plays, Nash didn't call a timeout. And when things got chaotic in that Philly game, Doc Rivers called a timeout. It was a little late, but he called a timeout with 0.9 seconds left, called up a play, and Embiid hit a turnaround fadeaway 3 to win the game. Because he didn't let that possession go to waste. It practically almost did, but he managed to salvage something out of it. Who knows what Nash could have done if he could have just called a timeout with like 2 seconds left to at least set up some type of play when everything was going awry. But that's the difference between Nash and Doc Rivers. So
experience and non-experience. It's
yeah.
like when you've been to war, like you know what it's like in that foxhole. You know what it's like in the trenches. So it's many situations you've been there before. When bombs are dropping, you know what to do. When shots are firing, you know where to go. Like when sirens is going off, you don't get alarmed. But like when a guy who ain't never been to war before is in them trenches, and you got a certain level of talent on the other side that knows what to do, you get shook. And Steve Nash looks very frazzled. Finch, he looks very frazzled. But coaches coaches different even if you have played the game, because guys like Doc Rivers played the game, but they also had so much experience with the 08s and the Celtics and the Clippers and whatnot. You've taken the losses, you've blown the series leads, so you know a little bit of what to do. Guys like Finch, they're just trying to figure it out, and the talent on the court, like the superstar or burgeoning superstar talent on the Wolves, they have to go through it themselves first. You can't give somebody firsthand experience by telling them what to do. They have to just see it. So right now they just got to figure it out, and I think that Minnesota has enough nuclear talent in Edwards and sometimes Towns to get this done. I think Ja can also get hot too, but it's just something about this Grizzly team that I don't know, man. I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it yet. They're just too young for me to believe this.
You know what it is, Q?
Yeah.
What it is, Q, with Memphis, they don't have a legit bucket getter. Ja is nice, but Ja is the preeminent point guard, right? He's CP3 3.0, whatever you want to call him, right? Because he can score when you need him to. He does whatever the game needs him to do, right? And he has an uncanny ability of understanding timing. But they don't have a guy that his sole job is getting buckets. We're seeing Brandon Ingram in these playoffs show you why he was the draft pick that he was. And some people just take a little bit longer to bake. But you can't, it's undeniable now. You can't tell me Brandon Ingram is not like one of the top guys to go get you a bucket. He's proving that. You know what I'm saying? And to me, Memphis don't have that guy. They got the big man that can do a little bit of everything with JJ. You got Ja, but who's the guy that's just gonna go get buckets? You know, and I feel like that's where that's where Minnesota was a couple years ago before they got Ant.
Desmond Bane is the closest thing. He's the closest thing to that, but he's still not there yet as far as that is.
Oh no, he's not. But when we're evaluating the teams, what do they need? That's what Memphis needs. Yeah, it's going to take, if you draft a guy, obviously it's going to take them a little while to get to a championship type of level. But that's what they need. The Clippers, the Lob City Clippers, that's what they missed.
Wow,
they didn't have a bucket getter.
Desmond Bane been there tonight because I didn't realize he had 26. He's 7-14 from 3.
Do you know who would somebody realistic? I don't think that this team can actually bring him back, depending on what his price tag is going to be. Do you know who would make the Grizzlies for me? Like, I believe in that, like that bucket getter, a guy like Jordan Poole.
Yes.
On this Grizzlies team would make me be like, all right, they got everything that they need now. They got Jaren Jackson, defensive anchor. They got the Curry type dude now. They got Jordan Poole, and now they got Ja. So that's your big three. Just run with that. Everyone else fill in the holes. But Ja being still a slasher at heart, needing all types of help in terms of shooting around him, he can't get his own bucket yet like that beyond going to the cup and just being more athletic than guys. He's not a pull-up mid-range dude. And I think that he just needs that little 10-footer. I think that's all
he has it. He has it in the bag. What year is this for Ja?
What is this, his third year now?
Well,
is it
second
year?
Him and Zion came out.
Him and Zion. He hasn't even hit his third year. And in the theory of FIFO, third year is where you start to understand where to attack. Ja is just at an elevated level, so he has a good sense. And he's naturally a point guard, but when to attack to score, that what you're talking about, Q, which I 100% agree with, but I feel he has it. He just doesn't know when to unleash it all the time at an elevated, effective level, efficient level. I think next year we'll see that. And that's why I said I think it's good for them to lose because and we see Ja having, back-to-back turnovers. I don't know what they call it just now. But to get that ass whooping, how do I get better? Because he had a tremendous season. Now you got to nitpick why we don't get past the first round. I can't have that stigma if I'm that type of superstar. It elevates him. For these Minnesota Timberwolves, I feel like they have enough vets to get there and let Ant and Cat, and I don't know what the hell's happening with D'Lo, but let them boys take over, get to the second round, get smacked. Mm-hmm. I think that will be even better for them. But either way, both of these squads, man, like they're going to be in the playoffs for years to come. Years to come.
And Minnesota's not done building either.
Oh,
so
no.
That's what's going to make them even better. They still need they probably still need that long wing. You know what I mean? Like they still need in that vein of a Jeremy Grant, I think somebody who can do more offensively, if they could find a guy like that, that's probably the prototype or a stretch four.
You said from Minnesota?
Yeah, just from Minnesota, just like that, like that long wing type. I feel like D'Lo is only there for a minute, personally.
I don't know what D'Lo is gonna be. I think as constructed, a wing type, but I think more a defender though, like lockdown guy. Because look, Ant is just going to continue to grow. Ant is going to be almost a 30-point scorer in this league once he really starts to scratch his prime. Like this dude, he's just going to be dominant. He's 19, 20 years old.
Yeah,
physically, look at him. He's the size of all these NBA guys right now.
But you still, if you're keeping Pat Bev, you got that defender and leader. I would think they need a knockdown shooter too, somebody that can, so Ant-Man can penetrate and do his thing and kick it out.
Yep. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like,
or
imagine like a Cameron Johnson type. Yeah. Like a
Cameron
Johnson, Mikhail.
Yeah, Cameron Johnson would be perfect on this team. He'd be perfect. Because, he would just fit in perfect with this team.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Even guys like to a lesser degree in this same vein, not him as a player, but a guy like even like a Gallinari would be really nice as like an intermediate piece. Like off the bench guy. Yeah, like off the bench good dude for these playoff runs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that salary got to come down, bro.
Oh yeah,
he got to be like a $6 million kind of guy, sure. Not no 18, 19 million. Nah, hell no.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Sean.
Q, you take Jordan Poole over Desmond Bane?
Yeah, right now. Yeah, I would. I pretty much all day. Just because his bag is deeper. I think Desmond Bane is gonna be a great role player in this league. But I think that Jordan Poole has potential to one day we could look up and say he's top 17 dude, he's Bradley Beal right now, where Bradley Beal is. He could be that. Like he could be that type of talent where people will be like, yo, we need to go get him. We need to go trade these picks for him.
I agree with you because like FIFA, when you mentioned Jordan Poole, I used to love Jordan Poole too. And I still do. I'm just thinking right now, if you were picking, like if I was picking a team from this playoffs, from this playoffs, Jordan Poole been killing it, but Desmond Bane has been more consistent this year, if that makes sense. This whole year, Desmond Bane has been that guy.
In his role, yeah.
He's just been behind. He's been behind Ja as far as, the highlights and stuff like that. But he's been getting it done. He's averaging, 19 points a game. And he'll show up with a big game when they need it. Just some free throws.
Nah, give me Jordan Poole, bro.
Yeah, Jordan Poole's been asked to play. He's been asked to play point, and he's excelling at that right now. He got Curry off the bench. Like, what?
And here's the crazy thing. First of all, in the first 2 games, he's averaging 29.5 points a game. He's allowing Steph Curry to come off the bench, and Steph Curry's going wild. But not only can he play point guard, he can play off ball. Mm-hmm. That's not from a point guard's perspective. That's not easy to do, bro. Playing off ball like that. And still being aggressive. Like, yo, look, Ken, first of all, thank you for jumping on the Jordan Poole train. You know, I want to put it out there that preseason, your boy told you about Jordan Poole. That's all I want to say.
I gave you that like months ago though.
I feel you, but I'm just saying, like the way he balling right now. Not just you, Ken. I'm talking to the chat and everybody. I'm talking to everybody.
I remember coming on the show. I was like, "Oh yeah, you're right about Jordan Poole. He's nice."
Yeah. He's been that guy. I was people. I told you I was with you too when they drafted him. I told you he was good at Michigan. I like what he brought to the table. He's always been that type of player, but their whole team is like that though. You could pull. They put the scrubs in at the end of the game. Those guys are all good ball players. They all can get you 20. So that team is just
you're going too far now.
I've
seen some of them play.
Which one can't? Kuminga,
not all of them, bro.
Kuminga can get you 26. Toscano
Anderson, he about the only
20.
one.
Moody done got you 20 in a game this year. Let's look at every
any player in the NBA can get you 20 in a game.
That's what I said.
At any point.
Nah, not any.
But not consistently.
Some of these, you're talking about consistently. I mean, what I'm saying is when you need them in spots, all those guys can play. Golden State is the deepest team in the league. Like any of them guys can play.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Any of them guys can play. And I'm talking about you had Moody who wouldn't get no minutes sometimes. He was starting at one point, and he scored 26 in the game they won. So that's what I'm saying. So those guys come in. Toscano Anderson coming in playing major minutes. Then the next night he don't play at all.
I ain't worried about any of them guys.
But they are. What my point is that team is well constructed in their leadership from Steph and those guys. He got those guys playing good. So Jordan Poole, what he's doing is, it can be expected. He's that good, and he's playing with some guys that allow him to be that. Some stars won't allow you to do
what you're doing. You know what? I'll give you this, Shelton, because Cat only has 8 points, and he's just been in foul trouble.
And that's why I think that what they need in Minnesota is probably like a defensive stretch 4. Somebody who can stretch the defense stretch the defense with a 3, and then somebody who could also like be a more of an enforcer to Cat's like outside game.
He just turned it over too. Again, down 7, he turned it over.
Yeah, man, I don't
we got a super chat. Let me get a couple of these out from Kevin Timothy. Kevin, what's up, man? Kev said, last month, I said the Celtics have the best defense I've seen since the 04 Pistons, and most of y'all thought I was crazy. After seeing the first 2 games of the Celtics Nets series, y'all still think I'm crazy?
Yeah, that's a little bit since the 04 Pistons. Please remember we saw the Spurs with Kawhi Leonard in 2014. Not lock down LeBron James, but neutralize LeBron down the stretch and turn everybody on that Heat team looking like they had no idea what they were doing. So that was a great defense. And I think that also you have to look at some other great defenses. Like I'm watching the game at the same time as y'all, but there's definitely been other great defenses, man. The Spurs have had multiple years where they were fantastic. I think that you have what's the name of that? What's the team? The Grizzlies teams with Zach Randolph and Marcus Gasol had great defenses too. But the Celtics is certainly up there. I think that they're up there, and that's why you're seeing that they have long enough defenders to bother KD to the extent that they're doing. We talked about this earlier. They're just doubling KD, and they're forcing him to be the decision maker. And this is the separation where I always talk about him and LeBron, like I said earlier. FIFA, I want you to chime in on this. But that's where the separation is. When you double LeBron gonna pick you apart with passing. When you double KD, he's got to force more shots. Or he's got to move the ball and hope somebody like Kyrie can take over. And that's where LeBron, to me, has the 2 steps up on KD as an all-time player. Is you can try to double him, and he's gonna find the open man. He's gonna kill you in the corner. You know what I mean? He don't gotta have the ball.
LeBron's floor game is impeccable, bro. Like, the only other player that I've seen with my own 2 eyes, and I didn't see a lot of him like in his prime like that, but Magic Johnson, like literally like pick you apart back to the defense all the way at the 3-point line, and I know where everybody's gonna be at. So it's or it's tough to double LeBron, especially when he got shooters, because he gonna hit you in the shooting pocket. Dudes is gonna hit shots, and that is the difference. But again, it's just a different archetype. KD is a natural born scorer. So he's doing what MJ would have done. If you double MJ, you're going to fade away to the side you didn't come to. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what he's going to do. He's going to make the pass that he has or that he's forced to make. Where LeBron is like, bro, I'd rather have 20 assists than, 20 points most games. But it's just he's so dominant that he's going to get 20 points. Like, he's going to get 8 assists, that is the difference, though, between okay. But that is the difference between the two.
Yeah. KD is just he's not seeing that double coming. They coming at him hard and fast. And they're like you said, they're real handsy. They're getting their hands on the ball every single time when he's trying to bring it up to shoot. And they're stripping him like crap. It's turnover after turnover. It doesn't even look like the KD we know. That's why I started trying to look at him a little bit more. Like, was Ken right with what he was saying? I think it looked like it. Like, yeah, it's crazy. You said that about LeBron and hurt my feelings.
I don't think it's like I said. I don't think it's KD getting old. I think it's KD is older, so now you can't expect him to play 40 minutes down the stretch of a season just to get here. And now with Kyrie's conditioning, like I said, Kyrie's conditioning is not where it needs to be because he was part-time. So, yeah, you have a 40-point game one night, 50 points on, no shots missed. The next night he got, 20 points on 24 shots because his legs ain't there yet to endure the grind of a full season. So, KD, he's going to be all right, man. He's going to do what he do. I think next game we're probably going to see about, 29 on 13 shots, you know what I mean? Like, dude make 10 out of 13, 29, get to the line. But will that be enough? Because can you count on Bruce Brown to get you 12 points of the first 16 points? Probably not. Can you count on Goran Dragic to turn back the hands of time again for a second game in a row? Maybe. It's on Monday, so maybe the rest will help them all. Or the rest might help the young Celtics. Get them more film, get them more ready. Shit, Jaylen Brown, even though he came alive towards the end of that game, Jaylen Brown ain't been having the best games. He been having the best games. You know what I mean? Jason Tatum, by all means, he had a great game playing defense on KD, but he wasn't a spectacular scorer. So maybe that helps him when he wants to get his shit going. Al Horford, he's older, so that's only going to help him. So I just think that the pendulum has swung too much to where Boston is right now for this train to stop.
Hey, that boy Maxey though.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, people slept.
I think as I watched those games, what Harden may have done is it may have taken pressure off Maxey and allow him to kind of settle in and do what he do. Harden just kind of control the game, just basically play point and just let Maxey, go to work.
You sound like somebody familiar, Ken.
Who's that?
Me on that 365 trying to talk to Nick.
Harden has graduated. I still do believe that he's hobbled by the hamstring, and he will get half of that step back once he does conditioning and training this offseason. But he's never going to be, even with the hamstring fully back to where it's going to be wherever, because it's not going to be the same guy anymore. But I think he can get back to 80% of what he was pre-injury in Brooklyn. But even then, when he gets back, I think he's graduated his game to being more CP light, where it's like, I'm controlling the pace of the game and I'm drawing these doubles. I'm going to the cup. I'm dishing out. I know how to control the clock. I'm going to get Joel his looks. I'm going to, saying between the legs. And then I'm going to kick it to Maxey. He's going to fly to the rim and get an easy 2 because the guy can't stay in front of him. So all the attention, like you're saying, that Maxey would get if he was just in this situation next to Joel, Harden has done such an incredible job of compartmentalizing the game for all the young guys and for all the role players who just need, like Niang, he needs to know where he has to be. Danny Green, he's a veteran, but Harden slows the game down so much that I think it has only helped Tyrese Maxey figure out, oh wait, I'm just a bucket getter. I just get buckets. All right, word. I don't have to worry about pace. I don't got to worry about getting assists. James got me. And quiet as kept, James Harden is playing some really solid defense this series. He's playing really solid. The only last game he had some pretty bad possessions, but most of the time this season, game 1, game 2, and for half of game 3, he's been playing very solid defense. So that narrative needs to stop. That James Harden don't play no defense. He's been playing some solid D.
Q, I agree with most of the stuff you said, but one thing you keep saying with certainty, like he gonna work out this summer.
I think he will, man. I think he will. He motivated by that money. I mean, most of these players, he like James. We know when James needs this money, he gonna work out.
So he gonna get it regardless.
Yeah,
because any team would give him the max.
I don't have no faith in that man going to work out this summer to try to get better and
but
prove
that's
his
what
body.
I'm saying. I think the incentives in those type of contracts, be like you got to come into camp, blah blah blah
He ain't
blah.
gonna sign that. You know why you're not gonna sign that? Because there's other teams that wouldn't put that in the contract, and he go there.
I don't think he wants that smoke. I think that he's reached the point where if he's like, all right, I'm leaving Philly, I'm going to Utah. That's not happening. I don't believe that.
Are
you in Utopia today?
I don't believe that James Harden would do his name that bad. Where if you've already been through Brooklyn, blah 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 blah. I think him and Daryl Morey have a relationship where he's like, look, James, I need you to come into camp in shape. Like I just need that. I think that they have a rapport.
Q, I believe in Santa Claus for a long time, man. It's not real. That man ain't working out. That man ain't doing nothing but what he been doing. He's still gonna borrow, but I just don't see him going into the summer like I'm gonna go hard at this. I just don't see it doing.
He don't have to go hard. He just got to get in shape. Like you ain't got to go hard. Just do what you did to get in shape in Houston. The same shit. You know what I mean? Like even if he doesn't quote unquote get into the most peak condition, but just get your hamstring right. That's all I care about. Everything else, you came into Brooklyn the same weight that you probably were when you first got here to Philly, and you were MVP candidate before the hamstring. So just drop maybe 5-6 pounds and make sure you just keep your hamstring right. That's all I care about. Everything else is, everything is.
Booker might be out 2 to 3 weeks.
Pels in 7.
See, y'all thought I was crazy when I said the Pels was gonna win one. Like, bro, there wasn't all them games. When the games is tight, man, use your eyes. See, they can't do nothing with CJ.
People stop, people. And I'm being real. They would not have won that game if that man hadn't went down. Period. They wouldn't have won that game.
I feel you, because the man had 31 in the first half.
Yeah, they wouldn't have won that game. So that prediction to me, I threw that one. I called a sweep for the Suns, but I threw that prediction out the window as soon as that man went down. Because I think the Pels are a good team. I have no doubts about that. But that Suns team was the Suns, and you wasn't stopping. CP3 that first game he took it to him. That second game, D Book was taking it to him. There was nothing they could do.
Well, what do they do now? Because Book is locked on that team, bro. Like that's going to be hard to replace.
Super hard. It was hard enough to replace Chris Paul, but I think Booker's a lot more difficult because of his shot making ability and creation. That's hard to replace. You're just going to have to need guys to step up and play that tough defense like they played in game 1. You really going to have to get up in that. It was a lot of good defense in the first games of these series. And Phoenix was one. Those guys were playing some in your face. And it was a great adjustment by Willie Green and those Pelicans because he got them believing. And the fact that they came out that second game and adjusted to that defensive pressure and was able to get off of Brandon Ingram, creating his own shot, shooting over the top of those defenders, you just really got to get back up into them again like you did in the first game. And if you do that with Chris Paul playing well, which is going to be hard for him to do that night in and night out, but you still got a chance to win.
Man, who gonna check BI? Who? Mikal Bridges. All right, Mikal Bridges get. All right, he gonna check him now. Who gonna check CJ? Jay Crowder. Come on
Who's
now.
playing like shit?
CJ was guarding Brandon Ingram that first game. In that first game, they did a pretty good job defensively on him. Like I said, that first game they was up in him all over the court. They was switching good. They was playing. Phoenix Sun basketball. It just looked good defensively.
Mm-hmm.
But that second game, once he went down, you could tell they were just like it was like a heavyweight fight. When you get caught with one, that's what happened. And it took a heroic effort for New Orleans to win that game. They were making some impossible shots. So in saying that, it's still going to be tough for New Orleans to win it. But I'm pulling for them because I just like Willie Green.
Willie Green is got these boys playing. Herb Jones looks like one of the best young defensive guys in the league. I think that Brandon Ingram has graduated to being better than dudes like, I hate to say it, this season he's been better than dudes like Donovan Mitchell. He's been better than dudes like Brandon Ingram. I mean, Bradley Beal. I think he's graduated into that tier where it's like, yo, is this a top 12, top 10 potential guy right here? We're seeing that.
When I watch BI, man, his floor game doesn't dictate to me top 10, top 12 overall. Definitely top 5 at his position, top 18-ish.
Yeah.
But he's definitely a top 5 bucket getter.
Mm-hmm.
He elevated to that this year. Like, you just, like, I'm going to go get my buckets and you better just hope I miss. Like, that's where he's at now. Like, what is he, 6'10", 6'11", with that wingspan? I want to say he was third in mid-range scoring this season, with 3-point range. I think the thing for him, and he obviously has gotten better season after season, but to really be like, to usurp all of the other deficiencies, he got to average more free throws a game. Yeah. He got to get closer to 10 free throws, 12 free throws a game. He gets there, he becomes elite. Because now we're talking he's averaging 26, 28, 30. Mm-hmm. That's
so let me throw out names. Just, we don't have to put this in a ranking, but just for this season, all health aside, you take him over Paul George this season?
This season?
Yeah. Is it a conversation?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, you said so are we including health or not including health?
We could just, from what we saw when they were on the court, like Paul George, right? He was healthy somewhat.
Now Paul George is still Paul George is still
still better. Would you take him over Jaylen Brown?
Yes.
I would. I'll take him over Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
Take him over Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah.
It's 50-50.
It's
50-50. Yeah, that's the conversation. What gives him the edge is his size and the fact that he can, you can work him in different positions.
Absolutely. Just to give me 2 more names. You would take him over whatchamacallit? Would you take him over Karl Anthony Towns? I would personally. I think Brandon Ingram has another level to go.
What Cat gives you in size and physicality and rim protection, that's hard to give up. But offensively, yes, I take BI over Cat offensively. The total package is kind of 50-50. Like, I don't feel like I'm losing anything if I swap them. Like, we're just going to be as good.
I think there's a composure, too, that I like from BI that Cat hasn't displayed yet in the playoffs.
I give you that. Yep.
Yes. Especially like you said, especially this year. BI looks like he's looked so comfortable in these couple games. Like, he looks comfortable being a leader like that. That's what's been impressive.
Last one. You'll take would you take him over Zach LaVine?
Yes.
It's a conversation for me. I think it's very close. Because I think Zach, once he gets some playoff experience, I think it's gonna be a different conversation. Just like Bi getting this playoff experience, but yeah,
You know, I love them both. I think Bi shoots a higher percentage, and again the size. So I would take Bi.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Transitioning. Now we're talking about Zach LaVine.
Let me give you a couple of super chats first.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Because we got a bunch of them to get to, so I'm gonna knock out a few of these real quick. Jay Mecca said the Mavs still looking competitive, and we getting Luka back on Saturday night. Might finally win a series since 2011.
Who said that? Who said y'all getting Luka back?
Yeah, I ain't seen no reports.
Yeah, they're up 17 right now, but we know 17-point leads in the first half don't mean much of nothing.
I mean, well, it is the Jazz, so the Jazz ain't really gonna do much. I think Donovan Mitchell, he already looking up teams that he want to get traded to. So,
yeah, I'm sure that I think I was the only one that picked Dallas to win this series.
You did. I didn't pick them, but God damn, man, you should not be losing to a Luka-less team.
That says a lot. That shout out to Jason Kidd for that, because he had these guys ready to play.
Jalen Brunson, man.
It don't matter. Everybody's ready to play, but you shouldn't still be losing to Dallas without Luka.
Especially 17 at home.
This makes no damn sense.
By 17 at home.
For sure.
So that's the game y'all watching? I'm definitely watching this Golden State game.
It's on already, man. I didn't know that it started.
Yeah, it just started.
I apologize.
And this boy Jordan Poole, man, look, that man, he's starting to become unfair, bro.
He different.
It's a cheat code though when you got Steph coming out the bench. Like when you think it's like I mean, it sounds so funny to say, like Steph coming off the bench. What you got for that?
Nothing.
Imagine you getting your ass bust by Jordan. But like, damn, bro, he's fucking me up. And then you got number 30 checking in off the bench. Like, that's just Steph fucking Curry. Like, bro,
man,
the bench players on the Nuggets is like, bro, like,
why y'all do this to us?
Yeah, like why y'all do? And that's why, man. I'm sorry. All respect to Jokic, but his body language is terrible in this series.
Yeah,
his body language is terrible.
Oh, this is over.
This game is over. It showed, and that's why defense matters. So when I say Giannis and Embiid to me are the MVPs, and that's where the conversation needs to be at, I'm talking about the entire game, dude. That's because somebody is having a magnificent season on one side of the court. And in all respect to Jokic and what Mike Malone do, he's a generational big. He's probably the best passing big man we've ever seen. But in terms of just output on both sides of the court, defense and offense, and beating Giannis, what they do is so dominant that I just can't give it to Jokic when I see him give this kind of effort down 0-2. I just can't say that's my MVP. I just personally can't say it.
Yeah, but that's what makes it so hard, Q. And y'all know I was on the Embiid train. I mean, on the Jokic train early, and the reason why I was is I felt like he was doing a lot early on. He was, and two, I felt like I felt like the media was going to give it to him. I just felt like he was the winner. So I was just saying that you might as well just wrap it up. But this is hindsight. We still got more games to play. He's no longer my MVP. He's just not. And you're right. It definitely is Joel Embiid's MVP to lose if they extended it on. That's why I wish they would figure out some kind of way to kind of extend it on, because this regular season MVP thing is a joke. It really, really is.
Yeah, I hope maybe they need to make a playoff MVP. Then maybe they need to make just for something to have final MVP. I think that either adding more awards or perhaps factoring in the first round would be pretty dope, personally.
Correct. I wish they would include at least the first round, because this, like I said, it wouldn't even be a contest if they included the first round. Mm-hmm. And it was razor thin close to me in the regular season as it was.
Yeah.
But these playoffs, it's not a question who the most valuable player in this league is. It's not a question.
Absolutely.
But
what's crazy about
Yeah, I'm gonna get you the next one. I was just gonna say real quick about the Golden State thing too. What's crazy, and I don't know if y'all think about this, but I think about it sometimes. Wiggins is the all-star on this team, and Wiggins does nothing. That's what's crazy. You got an
No,
all-star.
he does a lot. He does a lot. It's not as flashy or splashy as some of the other players, but what he does is very important. He's lubricant the same way that Draymond Green is, where you know what I'm saying? Like he allows that to work. He allows that lethal weapon 3 lineup to work, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like he just does because he's a smaller guy that can guard bigs and smalls. He could guard guys smaller and bigger than him. So
Right. And when I say that, I meant, with all due respect to him, I meant like he's like the 5th or 6th person you think about.
Oh, 100%.
When you think about this team.
100%.
He's like the 6th person you think about on this team, and he's an all-star. That's crazy. And that's literal, the 6th.
The 6th guy. Wait, but hold on. Before you get to that super chat, Ken, I gotta ask you. You know what I'm saying? The ownership of the Golden State Warriors said that they were light years ahead. Do you agree?
We'll see what they do next year.
I see you taking the Ken approach. Ken, they're light years ahead, bro, because this boy Jordan Poole is special. We still haven't even seen James Wiseman. They got a dude named Kuminga. Like Ken.
I know I like Kuminga. I say that because I want to see Wiseman, bro.
I feel you. But even if Wiseman is mediocre, even if he's just mediocre,
it's
still not fair.
It's still not fair. And FIFO, you can go back to last year and before when everybody was on this Steph is leaving train. I was like, Steph ain't going nowhere. Steph got it made where he is. He got it made where I said, just hold on. I don't know if y'all recall, but I was the only one singing that back then. This is what I expected to see. But they got to stay healthy. That's the only thing and that's what I fear from this team, because keeping everybody healthy is really hard to do. We've already seen that in the playoffs, and this is one of the most fragile teams out there. These guys go down like it ain't nothing. So I just hope, and it's out. You know what I'm saying? I just really hope that they can keep it together. We can get exciting basketball going forward. If one of them go down, this playoffs to me is it's already bad enough. And that's what I was going to ask y'all too. When Tracy gave her super chat, do y'all feel like that? Like if you're like you for example, if the Sixers are in the finals and they play Golden State, if Steph gets hurt, is it part of you kind of like excited about that at least? Or is that something that you don't want to see? Like, how does that make you feel as a fan?
I hold two emotions at the same time, where it's like, bro, as a basketball fan, like that's some bullshit. Where it's like, bro, I would love to just beat Steph when he's Steph, right? But when you're a fan of a player, you're a fan of a team, like if it's Joel Embiid or the Sixers, I'll be like, well, we got the ring together. Fuck it, we ball. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But like as a basketball fan, it's like, damn, bro, I do want to see Middleton healthy. I do want to see Booker healthy. But it's like on the same accord, I get like, I think it was just a joke. I hope so. But when Tracy's saying she's here for the injuries, I think she's saying like she's here for the extension of the drama of what the injuries bring. Where it's like Pelicans could possibly win in 7 now. Chicago could possibly win this now. Maybe. You know what I mean? Where it's like there's the way that Caruso's playing defense and the way that Levine and DeRozan, like they're just coming alive now. Like the way that Billy Donovan, I think another one of Ken's favorite coaches, is figuring out ways to, actually get his guys open shots. I think that he's learned from his stint in OKC. So I'm just here. I'm here for the drama. I'm definitely not here for the injuries, though.
What about you, Ken?
I mean, it depends on the outcome of the games, right? So if the Pelicans win, damn, we didn't get a chance to see the Suns get to the finals for a possible rematch. That may not happen because Middleton gone. So both of the 2 teams that played in the finals have key injuries on their team, which may impact their ability to get back in the playoffs. So yeah, that it's going to open the door for a lot of other teams if they capitalize on it.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to, I want to give shout outs to coaches who've learned. I think that the game has evolved to the point now where there's room for coaches who had bad stints at other franchises. They figured out ways to correct their BS, correct their losses, correct their errors of their
Yep.
ways. Guys like Jason Kidd, who went from Milwaukee to Brooklyn, 2 failed stints, to sitting behind Vogel and learning defensive. What we're seeing now, Vogel's a great defensive coach, and what is he doing right now to Donovan Mitchell and the Utah Jazz? They're playing great defense. I think that Jason Kidd is putting on a complete masterpiece right now. Ime Udoka learning from Pop. Not saying he had bad stints, but shit, even like I just said, Billy Donovan in OKC having Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook and not being able to cash that in. I think that getting 2 other scorers now, you're seeing what he would have done differently if he had probably been given the chance again to coach Russ and KD in their primes. So I just want to give a shout out to that too.
Did you say Doc?
Doc as well. Honestly, shit, Doc as well for right now. Like
I thought you was leaving him off that list.
Nah, I can't. Until it's 4-0, I can't say nothing about Doc. But
hey, Q, I'm mad at you though, Q, man, because when the Sixers made this trade, you sung their praises.
Yeah.
They won those first 3 games. You were singing their praises. When they lost those couple games, you counted them out. You completely counted them out. Well, now are you back on this train? You said they lose in this first round.
I thought they were. I'm actually shocked that they're not losing these games. I think that Joel Embiid has shocked me to the point where I'm like, bro, we were down 17, and that was the game where I felt like Embiid turned the corner, where it's like, okay, this is a different animal now. This is no longer just Joel, because Joel would have playoff clunkers, man. He would have the stomach issue. Be down 14 points, and he would have those games where he just had like 17 and 5, and we're like, dog, that's not enough, dog. But for him to just get in his bag in the third quarter, for him to play such great rim protecting defense in that second half against the Raptors, I have to keep it all in front of me, where it's like, I'm excited that they're doing this. They should be doing this. Just because I picked against them in this first round doesn't mean that now all of a sudden, because they're winning, and I think that we have everything it takes to go all the way. I still think that Miami can pose hella problems for us. I would be confident in that series for it to go 6 or 7. I wouldn't be shocked if we lose or win that series. I wouldn't be shocked if we get our ass kicked in that series. But when I look at teams like Boston, when I look at teams like Brooklyn, if we face them, I don't think we have the perimeter defenders capable of stopping Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown or Kyrie and a KD, and that's where I'm afraid that when I say we don't have what it takes to get over that hump. But if Middleton is going to be out for the rest of the playoffs, or he's going to be hobbled going forward, and Brooklyn gets bounced out, and Boston doesn't have Robert Williams, it's all bets are off, and I just kind of reevaluate.
But you know what? You got to evaluate something, man, because you said a whole bunch of nothing. Like, so what do you believe now? Because at first you was with Philly, now you're like, you're surprised that, like, so my thing is this, and this is what I stay steadfast on the entire season, right? Especially when it comes to the playoffs. Don't nobody have nothing for no Joel Embiid, bro. And all of that is nice out there, Jason Tatum, and all of this, that, and the third, and what Brooklyn brings as well. What you gonna do with that man in the middle? Because he can guard y'all out here. Now, I'm not saying, hey, Joel, go guard KD the whole game. No. But if he switch on you, like, it's not just buckets. You're gonna have to work for that. And then on the other end, he's gonna dominate you at every level. Bro, did y'all see the fadeaways he was doing? So he's killing people in the mid-range. He's killing people down low. He hit fadeaway 3. What is you going to do with a 7-footer that got handled, got IQ, got the Akeem Olajuwon packet? Ain't nothing that they're going to do. And here's the thing, Q. I feel you when you say that You wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised either because the others are more questionable than the greatness of Joel Embiid. However, Joel has been smacked in the playoffs. Joel has had that time. He's beyond the 3 to 5 to understand what he is.
Mm-hmm.
Now he understands what he needs to do. And he's dominant the entire game on both ends. And I don't give a damn what they got, bro. I don't know how you stop that in the East.
It's tough.
Outside of Milwaukee with the size, bruh, this man's gonna make Bam look small if they play the Heat. He gonna dominate a Lopez, and Giannis don't got nothing from down low. You know,
I think if you're other teams, man, your job should be just make sure don't nobody else get out.
No one else can eat.
Yeah, we're gonna stop. We're gonna shut Maxey down. He gonna get his.
And that's where I think that's where I think of Boston poses problems. I don't think Joel Embiid has any issues with any team in the East, like y'all saying. But when it comes to just the team game, I think Ime Udoka can basically neutralize Maxey.
And they do have the defensive player of the year. They can put him. They can put Marcus Smart on Embiid and shut him down.
Please. Please. They can't do that with Embiid. Nobody can do that. Nah. But if it was another guy like a Gobert, if it was a Towns, hell yeah, nah. It would be the DeAndre Ayton.
They only. Hey, neither one of them don't even want none. They probably even worse. The Towns and the Go-Bears get ate up by Embiid. But you're right, Kev Timothy. Yeah, FIFO did say Curry was going to play in LA with Bron. So did Q. They both had put.
I'm still not saying that's not going to happen. I think that's still a possibility in the next couple of years if LeBron stays there. But that's just me.
Josh Bros said, Ken and Q, I want you guys on record. Luka is back game 4. How do you think he'll play, and how far can he take the Mavs in these playoffs?
If he's back game 4, I don't think he'll need to come back game 4 because I think the Jazz are terrible. Sit him out. Let his calf, because you saw what happened when he tried to rush back KD.
Yeah,
ended up tearing his shit. It was out for what, a whole calendar year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you can't rush no calf strain, no calf tear, none of that shit. That I didn't had a micro tear in my calf, bro. That shit took about 9 months for me to just be able to get back on the court. So obviously these guys have better prognosis than I do, so maybe it's not as bad as that. But I wouldn't risk any of it. If he does have to come back though, he gonna be Luka for as long as he can be Luka until that thing does what it do.
I mean, shit, he may come back and mess everything up. Why you talking?
Honestly,
well without him.
He could.
What does that say? What does that say? I want you on record. What does that say about the fact that they probably get their first win and Luka may not even have to touch the court?
It says Rick Carlisle maybe have not been the coach that he needed, and Porzingis was not his number 2 that they needed. Probably.
That's 100% true. And the thing about it is he can't tear his calf for nothing else because he ain't gonna jump.
Shit.
Tracy G said, "What's up, Tracy G again?" She said, "I have faith in KD, but I agree. They lost that game to non-coaching, double team KD. They got to get the ball out to Seth, Bruce, Patty, and LA on the floor."
Man, they putting Seth Curry in the blender, dude. Ime Udoka knows, he not stupid. Ime Udoka, he's been behind Pop. When he sees a little guy like Seth Curry on the court, he's like, okay, oh no. You think you gonna hide this dude on the court? No, Jaylen Brown. We're gonna put you in the pick and roll right now, back his little ass down and put 2 up. That's all it is. Every single time until they stop it. And that's just kind of what the genius of Udoka is doing, where you just see that Spurs seasoning all over this game plan. If you go back and you look at the Grizzlies series, if you go back and you look at Golden State Game 6 versus OKC, if you go back and you look at the Spurs 2014, they're doing a mixture of all of those defenses to KD right now, forcing him to put the ball on the floor, forcing him to make the decisions, putting a zone around him, showing a double, even false doubles. You know what I mean? Making him think that it's a double coming and it's not. Move a defender out the way. He drives, Dude steps in the lane, gets charges, picks the ball out of his hands. They're getting in the shooting pocket. It's all bad. It looks really bad for him right now. And I think that this is how KD has always struggled in the playoffs, is when teams have this type of personnel to do this type of scheme. I don't think that this is a new thing that we've seen from KD, actually. This is just how he's always struggled when he struggled.
Yep. Nate the Great said, we forget KD will be 34 soon, and he always injured.
Yeah.
He has been. Yep. He getting up there.
Yeah.
Josh Bro said, if Utah lose, they should trade Gobert and picks to pair Mitchell with another star who can score 20 plus a night.
Not gonna happen.
Mitchell's out, man. If he's not out, they're gonna have to convince him that they are gonna bring in a bona fide star. But which star wants to play in Utah? Salt Lake City, Utah. Like, you got to think about it, man. These players are still people. These players still want to get it popping on the weekend. It's like, what's popping in Salt Lake City? No disrespect to any
rodeo.
Utah. Yeah, I mean, like, Mormons, like, we want to go to mass, like, you know what I mean? Whatever. Catholics and Mormons, like, that's all y'all got in Utah. So it's like, you got to either bring in another bona fide star that is just like, oh shit, we got him. Like, if we're not going with it. They got a Joel Embiid. Like, oh shit, nah, I'm staying. Right? If we just lose our mind and trade for Gobert or something, oh shit, I'm staying. But beyond that, he's like, man, get me to Miami, get me to the Knicks, get me to anywhere, get me to the Clippers, anywhere you need me to get to. Like, I do not want to be here anymore. I'm tired of this Quinn Snyder. We're just shooting everything offense, and nah, bro, I need to be in a big market. I deserve that. My talent deserves that. I'm an Adidas signature shoe guy. My star needs to rise. So send me somewhere where I can get some shit popping.
Yep. Marty McFly, what up, Marty? Marty said, Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year. What's your thoughts, FIFO? Do you want to gloat a bit, Q?
Do I want to gloat a bit? Nah, man. Marcus Smart is putting on this season. He's put on a very versatile defensive highlight reel. I think that he has shown that he's easily one of the more adaptable guys that you can put on guys 1 through 4 damn near. But his defense on guards and premier guards this season, it's been nothing short of Gary Payton-esque. So I just give him all of the praise, and he definitely deserved it. And if he didn't get it, I would have wanted Mikal Bridges to get it. Or if Mikal didn't get it, I would have wanted Bam to get it. Fuck Gobert. I'm not trying to see that nigga get that shit. Like,
no.
Yeah, nah. Oblivion Radio said the same thing. FIFO, thoughts on Marcus Smart winning Defensive Player of the Year?
I never said that the man can't play defense. I never said he wasn't elite. I just had an issue with saying that you could put him on big men and it'd be okay. Like, that's my – now, can he guard them in, switches here and there? Of course, but we're not saying Marcus Smart is our small ball forward. So that was my only point. But outside of that, yeah, of course. Like, I'm 100% fine with that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that's what I think it was. It was more misunderstanding.
Yeah. I'm not saying he can't guard or he's not a great defender or a top 3 defender in the NBA. No. I'm just saying he's not Draymond. Now you give him 3-4 more inches, then yeah, he is Draymond, but he's not Draymond. He's not
Rob Costa, what up, Rob? Rob said, quick rant about my Raptors fans. These delusional people tried to push the Siakam over Embiid idea for weeks. Kind of glad the real MVP shut them up. Still love my Raptors team, though.
Hey, shout out to a real fan of basketball.
Mm-hmm. That's admitting the truth. You even though that's your squad, that ain't no.
Nah,
good.
They're not on the same planet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not at all. Not at all.
Let me ask y'all this question real quick, Shelton, before you get to the next super chat. Do you think that Denver should play Twin Towers with Joker and DeMarcus in there at the same time?
Why so? Like, what would that help?
To punish them down low when they try to go small?
On the offensive side?
And just zone them up defensively.
They'll put DeMarcus and your Joker in that blender so quick in that pick and
Yeah.
roll action. Like,
But how they're playing zone? They'll be down.
If you in the zone, they just gonna shoot it over the top. I wouldn't do that. Now what they just did just worked. They went to DeMarcus down low. Just let him get busy on old boy. Because they ain't got nothing for him down low, but I don't think Golden State cares. I think you got to match up to Golden State more than Golden State got to match up to you.
But that's the problem though. That's the problem right there, Shelton. Is that in basketball, when you dictate style, and flow of the game, you're gonna win. And that was the problem of the Golden State Warriors and the Dallas Mavericks way back when I'm talking about Baron Davis, when they were the AC, the Steven Jackson, Matt Barnes Warriors, right? The problem with Dallas and Avery Bradley was they tried to play that small ball and got smoked. And that was one of the first times that, my coaching brain started activating, saying like, okay, well, if you dictate how we're going to play and it's to your advantage, you're obviously going to win because it's to your advantage. And I feel that teams now granted, like Draymond is unfair because this man could go guard Joker. You know what I'm saying? And he could go out here on the perimeter and dribble handoffs and all this type of stuff. So I know he makes it unfair, but still, I feel like you have to counter it by punching them in the mouth and let them do what they like. You got to put those guys in that small ball lineup in foul trouble, or you just gonna give me these two every time.
I just think that it can only work if DeMarcus is still that same guy. I don't think he has I don't think he's spry enough to make that happen. But I hear what you mean when you're saying dictate style. I have a lot of the same criticism of like a guy like Doc Rivers when I'm like, bro, just like, in past playoff series, I'm like, bro, dictate the style. Like, we need to make this a grind out game with Ben and Joel and whatnot. But I just think that doing what Mike Malone does, putting the ball in Joker's hands and just doing exactly what got them here, for him to switch it up now, I think it would just be too much of a style change where now you just kind of like are throwing shit at the wall where it just kind of got to stick with your game plan.
But the thing is like, in my opinion, at least offensively, I understand defensively they will be hella slow, obviously. But Joker and Boogie can coexist because they're two bigs that can hit perimeter shots. And they both could go down low. And obviously Joker can handle the ball a little bit more than DeMarcus, but they both have enough handle to not, like, you're just not going to rip me either. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I agree. I think, the Pelicans, when they had Boogie before the injury and AD, if I had that squad against, Golden State squad, I would definitely play those two bigs. But I just feel, and I feel a lot like Charles Barkley. I know this is one of Charles Barkley's criticisms with teams that play against Golden State. And I understand that everybody doesn't have the personnel, but you gotta punish them. You gotta, and I understand that they shoot a very high percentage from three, but like, you gotta, shoot 2 feet away from the basket against that and force them to get fouls.
I just think that transition would be like slaughter. Like, but I could, if you go down 3-0, shit, you gotta try something.
Try something.
You gotta try something. So
that's the one move that I was hoping that Golden State made with this loss. I was just thinking about it. Would be to bring in Boogie when they had a chance to. I thought that they needed an extra post player, somebody like him who could actually shoot from the perimeter when you need him to. You wouldn't need him to play major minutes or be a star. You just needed another big body at the time. I figured they would bring him in, but they didn't. I think that would have pushed this team over the top. I guess maybe they were expecting Wiseman to be back by now because they don't have really any size other than Kevon Looney. But yeah,
and Draymond, you have to say his size because he guards bigger than himself.
Well, I mean, other than him is what I'm saying.
Okay,
because I'm counting.
Draymond is so sturdy, man. Draymond is so sturdy that Jokic can try to bounce off him all day long. Draymond's not going anywhere. Like his center of gravity is just so. He just thorough, man. Like he thorough as hell. Like that's the only way I can say he's just thorough. And with the way that he just plays defense, the way that he stays down, the way he knows when to slap the ball out of guys' hands, when to bring it up, the way that he knows when to jump. His timing is impeccable. His weight that he carries, the way he can throw it around. It's just he's all time.
Q, there was a play in this particular game. It was in the first quarter. It was early, like a couple possessions in, but it was one play. The play right before Draymond hit the three off of Klay Thompson's assist.
Mm-hmm.
He was guarding Joker 1-on-1, hands up, and Joker couldn't move him, and Joker missed that shot. And like when we talk on this, that in sports here, and we got Nick on Tuesdays, and Nick is like, how the fuck can somebody that average 6 points a game be the glue guy and this, that, and how is he that valuable? The numbers don't. And it's like, bro, plays like that, there's no stat for him. He didn't get a block, he didn't get a steal, but he stopped Joker from scoring. Invaluable.
And that creates the fast break.
And that creates a fast break. So that's why Draymond, like obviously Steph is the engine, but without Draymond, you can't play that style of basketball. And that's what makes it completely unfair. Now, obviously, you add a Jordan Poole to the mix, and it's just like, yo, like what the heck? Like,
and now Klay is just basically Kyle Korver 5.0. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's just like Klay. Yep. Oh, I'm just catching shit. All right, heard you. And that may come into play. You may need Klay to be the old Klay at some point, if not this year, then next year, hopefully. But in terms of defense, he may never be that guy again, but he can maybe get back to being a much more serviceable defensive player than he is right now. He's just coming back from a couple months of injury, so we're gonna see what's going on. But I think that what the Warriors have right now is they're in, like, I think JJ Redick said it, where they're in that third iteration of the window, and this is rarefied air. Not a lot of guys get there. Like the Bulls, they got there. Well, the Bulls really only had two, but the Bulls had two of these.
Two. When Jordan was there, he retired. He came back.
Yeah, it was two of them. The only other team that's had done this is probably the Spurs.
The Spurs.
Three iterations of the window, revitalizing.
Because you had Tim Duncan and David Robinson. That window, Avery Johnson and them, Sean Elliott. Then you got, the big three as we know them.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we got the Kawhi version. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Ken, Golden State is light years ahead of the NBA. Dog. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's really not fair. It's not fair.
Yeah, that's amazing. We got more super chats.
We got one more from Joshua Jericho.
Ooh,
he said, whose duo had a more disappointing time in their teams? KD and Kyrie or PG and Kawhi?
Ooh,
that's actually really tough.
I'm gonna say Kyrie and KD.
I'm gonna say PG and Kawhi. Just because.
Oh wow!
Just because we expected them to go out in much more dramatic fashion than that. They went out like straight punks to me. It was like 3-1 every game. They was walking y'all down. You couldn't execute. I get it, Doc, and the pieces probably weren't there. Pat Bev, Montrezl Harrell, everywhere Harrell goes, he always complaining about not getting playtime. I don't know what. And Sheldon, you enjoy that, but it's like So when it comes to that, I probably say PG and Kawhi. Man, Kawhi's just coming off of the finals and shit. Come on, dude. What?
Yeah,
I'm gonna say KD and Kyrie because their previous situations were winning situations, and they both decided to leave great situations. Kawhi was, a mercenary, and Pop shipped him as far away as he could, and he was there for 1 year and did what he did. Teamed up with PG that requested a trade. But to me, when you look at KD and Kyrie, like their profiles are more elevated than both Kawhi and PG coming into the situation. And then again, leaving situations that are better that was better than their current situation, that says a lot about those guys. So to me, if you're gonna leave situations like that, like you gotta elevate, and they have not. So to me, that's been more disappointing overall.
Mm.
Well, last series we gotta just pick them real quick because we gotta get up out of here if we don't have any more super chats. But with Middleton down, Chicago got a chance. How we feeling? If I revitalized my pick, I have to restructure. I think Chicago in 7 now. If Middleton's out for the whole series.
Wow, going against the MVP, huh?
I love Giannis, man. It's just something feels weird about this Bucks team without Middleton there, and even with them there, that offense it just looks really weird against Chicago. Chicago was in that first game; they could have won it down the stretch of game 1. If DeRozan just hits like 4 more shots, it's like okay, no, this is 2-0. So without Middleton there, the defensive pressure is on Giannis to no longer just be the greatest help roaming defender that we've ever seen. He's got to be on ball with more guys now. And Drew can only do so much holding up that offensive end and the defensive end. I think Levine and DeRozan gonna start cooking. And they in Chicago too. Come
on. It's gonna be interesting. I still think that the Bucks will somehow find a way to pull it off. I watched that game that they won, and Middleton was a big part of how they managed to get back in the game. But DeRozan was like, he was on another level. Like everything he put up was going in, like damn near everything, except in the fourth quarter until he got that lucky roll on that drive to the hoop to basically put the game away. But I don't know, man. I think Giannis will find a way to get it done. I can somehow see other guys stepping up. But Middleton is a big part of this team. I mean, I think people sometimes they look so much at Giannis that they really don't value the contributions that Middleton gives them. But I think they should. Chicago, I don't know if they're ready yet. That was their first win against the Bucks this season. They were 1-15 against all the winning teams. Now, if there's a chance to make amends of that in the playoffs is to do it, and Middleton going out would do it. But man, would be the way to get it done. Bucks going out in the first round, that'll be fucking nuts.
Yeah, imagine the NBA Finals finalists both going out in both conferences first round.
That's and the way they're going out is what's going to be bad. That's the only thing about it. If they were going out standing up, they'd be different. But you lost key players on both sides. That's the storyline, and that's the part that makes this hard for me. I don't think that Minnesota will lose in the first round. Just like I really don't think that Phoenix will either. But the second round is when it's going to get tricky. And how those guys are able to respond if they're able to come back at all.
Because what's Chris Middleton's injury?
MCL
sprain. I think he's out. Well, somebody said 6 to 8 weeks.
They said reevaluating is 2 weeks from now, but most of the time 6 to 8 weeks for full recovery.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because both of those injuries, your body will tell you you're okay, and then one false little, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Especially a hamstring, bro. Especially a hamstring. You never know.
It's like in basketball, it's never really the jumping. It's never really, like the shooting. It's always that lateral movement on defense, or it's that oh shit, we turned the ball over. I was going one way, I gotta turn around really quick. You know what I mean? You're like, oh shit. You know what I mean? That's MCL as well. So it's just
it, bro.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I feel for him.
I'm gonna stick with the Bucks. I picked the Bucks originally. What did I say? 5.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I definitely think Chicago definitely has an opportunity, but I'm gonna pick the Bucks in 7 now. I definitely think Chicago's gonna push them boys, and Chicago's hungry enough where. And they got enough dogs on that team where it's like they sense blood, they're going to attack. But I just don't see what they could do with Giannis, man. Like Giannis ain't nothing there. I believe that the others on that Milwaukee team, they'll step up for one game. All of the others just need one game to be great. And Drew be solid. Giannis, hey, look, bro. Hey, you Superman. I need 35 now.
I mean, they did it last year, didn't they?
So
Wasn't Middleton hurt last year for a couple of games and they won?
Yeah.
Or was that Giannis? And Drew Holiday stepped up.
either way, this is a championship level team, so people got to step up.
Yeah.
We gonna see.
And like I said, it took a heroic effort. When you see games like the one that DeRozan had that last game, it's just tough to do that again. That kind of stuff is hard to do to win 3 more games. It's going to be tough to do it 3 more times on this Milwaukee team because they're not going to allow him to do that. Not to get off like that.
I mean, it's not like they were trying. It was everybody in his face, man. He just kept knocking them bitches down.
Right.
Like,
And that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
That's hard to do. You know what I'm saying? That would be hard to keep knocking them down. If he does, man, more power to him. But I just don't think it's plausible to expect him to still be that good with that kind of defense on him.
Who, DeRozan?
Yes.
And that's where Zach LaVine at home comes in.
Mm-hmm.
He's used to playing at home. This is Zach LaVine's first playoff berth. So he was never going to be that good in hostile territories like a Milwaukee. But now that he's back home, we're going to get a 35-point game one of these games, even if DeRozan gives you like 21. And that's all they need is one of those guys got to get 30 plus. That's the formula. One of those guys got to get 30 plus. Caruso got to get at least 3 steals. He got to take at least 3 charges. And Patrick Williams has to be able to not get absolutely murdered by Giannis. If he can make it tough for Giannis is going to get his 30 and 10. It's going to happen. But as long as Drew Holiday don't go off for more than 20, that's the formula to win.
Yeah, and I don't think he has to be, just automatic, Shelton. I think he'll be somewhere in the middle between that and this horrible game 1. But I think if you meet him in the middle and then you add in playing at home and Zach LaVine maybe going off and Caruso chipping in and Vucevic, who knows?
Mm-hmm. We get to see what Giannis and those guys are really made of now, though. So it really is just going to take, Giannis doing what he does. You still got Lopez, you still got Holiday, you still got Matthews, you got players. Oh, Bobby Portis, which is one of my favorites on that team. So they still got, pieces. Bobby Portis only had 2 points in that last game, but didn't play very many minutes.
Yeah, he got hurt.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens going forward with them. I think they'll be okay, though. I think they'll still pull it out. I really do. You had what was the one thing you had that was football related, Q?
Debo.
Yeah, I know it was something that we needed to touch.
I mean, shit. Y'all think he going? Y'all think he gone? You think San Francisco going to pay? You know what I mean? That's our last topic for the night.
There's a contract there, man. I think this is all on Debo right now, which is very interesting because Debo had a hell of a season. I want to say it was like 300 plus yards rushing, 6 rushing touchdowns, 1,400 yards receiving.
Right.
And that was with a mediocre Jimmy G. And I've been touting Trey Lance as the heir apparent, the next young gun to step up and do something. And for Debo to want to bounce, even though San Fran is offering, they're saying top 5 wide receiver money. I don't know, man. I might have to reevaluate my assessment of Trey Lance because to me, if a wide receiver sees you every day in practice, and it's like, I'm good, bro. I'd rather go somewhere else. That says a lot to me. So I got to reevaluate Trey Lance. I know we're talking Debo, but I think Debo's out of there, man. I don't think this is jousting. I think San Fran understands the value of Debo, but dudes like Debo don't last. I think he's probably good. Yeah, and I think, we've never seen somebody at the wide receiver position this physical. We've talked about T.O., Hines Ward, Megatron, Andre Johnson, but there's never been a dude like Debo. So,
right.
I don't know about the long term, but I give him the money. But if he wants to bounce, that says a lot.
And the thing about those guys that you named, are all the same as they're big guys. Debo's a lot smaller and a lot less durable. And that's the thing. We got the best. We had the best year we could have had out of Debo this year. He played awesome football, and he proved to be a valuable player that deserves that money. But can you count on him for 17 games a year? Can you count on him for the playoffs? I don't know about that. And I mean physically. I don't mean talent-wise. We know we can talent-wise. But how many of those games? Right. How many of those games is he going to play? And I heard he doesn't really want to play running back anymore or something like that. They want to go somewhere we can be an exclusive wide receiver. But and there's a million suitors out there. There's a ton of teams that would look good with a Debo. I saw they mentioned Green Bay as a huge possibility. You talk about what some of the others. You could definitely use him in Kansas City as a replacement for Tyreek Hill and his explosiveness. There's a few teams that they named the Jets. They talked about the Jets heavily, saying that it would make it a lot easier on Zach Wilson in his transition. I don't know why they keep mentioning the Jets for everything, because who want to go? I wouldn't want to go to New York for nothing, other than the fact
that he's gonna go if that's his issue.
But I don't get why he'd leave San Fran. He's at a place where he can be comfortable, and he's that guy. As long as they're paying him anyway.
I think that if you have a team like we just saw with Tyreek Hill in Kansas City, and they refuse to pay him, Debo is looking at this, like I said in the chat, Debo's looking at this from that situation where it's like, if they didn't pay him and he just got this big ass payday from the Dolphins, I know for a fact that my position, like y'all saying, from what they asked of me in San Francisco to be a running back and to be the slot guy, to be outside, they asked me to do multiple things. I'm really a non-QB. I'm a multi-skilled position guy. So what they're looking at in Debo's camp has to be, I'm never going to be this healthy. I'm never going to be this young. I'm never going to have this much leverage. So I can either sign a little bull BS deal and, probably have the cap go up in a couple years, which I think it's coming up next year. So right now he's like, nah, bro, y'all gonna have to pay me, and y'all gonna have to pay me $20 million a year. I'm gonna have to get $100 million deal, and I'm gonna have to get at least $80 million of that guaranteed, because y'all are trying to basically box me into, well, just take the hometown discount. There are teams right now that trade a first round pick and pay him.
Well, nah, like I said, or at least the reports that I've read have all said that San Fran is making him a top 5 wide receiver, so they're not paying him pennies. My only thing, my thing. So if I was brokering the Debo Samuel's deal, from San Fran's perspective, for me it would all be about the years. I give him the money. I'll make him the number 1, but we're not going past 3 years though. And it's gonna be front loaded as hell.
Yeah, and you're right, Q, 110%. Like he's making $3.1 million this year. His stock is as high as it's going to get right now. It will never be this high, and that's not to say he won't play well again, but the odds are against it based off his past. So in saying that, he has to capitalize right now. These guys need to get to the money sooner than later. You only have so many years in this league, and this is a temporary job. It's not a full-time, lifetime job for everybody, especially in a position like him and playing the way he does play the game. He has to get the money as soon as possible. He can't wait another year. He can't play on this rookie deal for one more year. He can't afford to.
Imagine if Dak didn't get his money. You know what I mean? Like, Dak got hurt, and Jerry wanted him to go into the season and prove it again. Where it's like, Debo's like, bro, I don't have anything else to prove. Obviously, San Francisco's looking at him like, they're not going to say it, but they look at Debo like he's a product of the Shanahan system. Because before that, he didn't put up these numbers. He got full integration into the system, and now he had a career year. And they're looking at him like, dude, I can bring in, like, Kyle Shanahan, they're never going to say it, but they're like, dude, I can find 5 more Debo Samuels that look and fit in right into my system. I'm not about to pay you $4 years, $110 million. No, it's not happening. Go ahead and
find
something else.
And the thing about it is this: we've already seen, because if you had told me at the beginning of the season, a year ago, from today. If you had told me Green Bay would trade Devontae Adams, Kansas City would trade Tyreek Hill, I'd have been like, you crazy. How you gonna trade that? You don't get no better than those two. You know what I'm
Minnesota
saying?
traded Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? D Hop getting traded. Those are the top 4 wideouts that we just named in football, period.
Mm-hmm.
So for them to be traded, anybody can get it. Ain't nobody safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody's safe.
Right.
So Debo, you can go, Debo. And I think, and the same thing, we talk about him and his value being higher. Same thing for San Francisco. His trade value will never be higher than it is right now, too.
Of course.
So in saying that, if you're going to move on, this draft time is the time to do it because there are some nice wide receivers in this draft. There are teams with multiple first-round picks that if you swing hard enough and you get enough leverage with these other teams, you can kind of maneuver that in your favor. So now's the time to get it done. Now is the time to get it done. This is a receiver-heavy draft, and you got teams with multiple picks that are in need of a receiver and will take Debo over anybody in this draft.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, man. Close this
Hey,
out, man.
and let me ask y'all one more thing before y'all get off real quick. Did y'all see where the National Player of the Year, Oscar Tshiebwe, he played at Kentucky. He's coming back to school.
No, I didn't.
Anyway, a lot of people expect him to go pro. Real quick, he signed a 7-figure NIL deal and is deciding to go back to Kentucky. So wow. That's kind of changing the landscape of basketball. It's like I'm having fun in college and now I can get paid to do it. Why would I turn pro? You know what I'm saying? So you got a lot of these guys that are going back to school, which is funny because now I think you'll see a couple of these guys kind of hang around. My brother was talking about it earlier, how Mike Williams is still in high school and has an NIL deal, and he's a millionaire already. So it's crazy that these guys are getting this money earlier than ever before. But shout out to these dudes for getting that money.
There's one more thing I wanted to bring up too before we get out of here. Aaron Gordon has officially become the worst contract in basketball. I'm just putting it out there.
It wasn't Aaron Gordon, man. It's still John Wall. You can't.
John Wall was once good though.
But John Wall's gonna get traded, bought out, something. Like we haven't seen John Wall in some years. Okay, out of sight, out of mind. You know what I'm saying? So, and then the Russell Westbrook thing, he only has one more year. He just signed this, bro. Like Aaron Gordon just signed. They're married to this contract for at least a couple years. This is not good. No.
Man, he looked good. He looked good when everybody was there. Aaron Gordon did what they needed for him to do. He looked good then. I don't know what's gonna happen to Aaron Gordon.
But here's the thing, right? Like I agree with you, Shelton, because you got MPJ, Jamal. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. Like you don't have to do much, but when you get paid like that, and
you should be able to
do now.
Yeah,
you gotta do more than 7 points a game.
Correct. Yeah, and I agree with you. But he at the time, like I said, at the time when those guys were there, he was scoring 16, 18 points a game. But he had a lot more open opportunities. It was easier for him to get that. He was the garbage man. But with this lineup, you expect him to take a step up, and he ain't doing it at all. Mm-hmm. He ain't got it.
No,
he ain't got it. FIFO, Imani's transferring. Where you going?
Oh, interesting. Probably to Michigan State, where you should have went the first time.
No, okay.
Tom Izzo get him right. And not saying, nothing against Penny or nothing, but I'm just saying Tom Izzo, has a track record now. So
that's it.
All right. Well, that's gonna do it for us tonight, man. We appreciate you guys coming through. And we'll catch you guys on Tuesday. We out. Peace.